everybody, and welcome to Coach's Corner. We have a special treat tonight. We'll be featuring two of the city's high school teams, Crimson Panthers of Huntsville High and Lee High School. Well, week number 4 of the collegiate football season brought the Bulldogs from Athens into Tuscaloosa to face an undefeated Alabama team. Alabama once again showed some fourth-quarter heroics to tie the game late in the period, but Georgia, who had not lived up to their preseason hype, demonstrated the importance of balance in its offensive attack and defeated the Tide in a thrilling 26-23 overtime victory. The Bulldogs from Huntsville were not as fortunate. With a 3-0 record, Alabama A&M traveled down to Louisiana to take on a rebuilding Grambling Tiger team. They didn't look like they were rebuilding. Grambling played for the first time at home since the death of legendary coach Eddie Robinson. They took the opening kickoff and marched to a touchdown and never looked back in beating the Bulldogs from A&M 31-6. First time A&M hasn't scored a touchdown in, I think, 3 or 4 years. The Tigers were growling this week at Auburn, took on Hal Mumme and pass-happy New Mexico. Early on, Auburn looked like the Autumn of the past 2 weeks, but the Tigers settled down and looked like the Auburn of old and cruised to a 55-20 win. In the rest of the SEC, Florida barely escaped an upset against Ole Miss. Tebow and company squeaked out a 30-26 win, I believe. I said last week, beware of Kentucky. After they upset Louisville, they continued their offensive output and defeated Arkansas 43-29. The LSU Tigers did not dominate this week, but they managed to continue winning. They got by Steve Spurrier's Gamecocks of South Carolina 28-16. And Mississippi State is off to their best start in years. They whipped up on Gardner-Webb, wherever that is, 31-15. In other state action, Eastern Kentucky 31-20 over Jacksonville State. Troy State got their second straight win. Troy 48, Louisiana Lafayette 31. Alabama State in another close game. They've been winning the close ones. They defeated Alcorn 28-25. The University of North Alabama keeps its unbeaten season intact by beating Southern Arkansas 27-6, and Tuskegee wins over Fort Valley State 34-3. Well, nationally, the Wolverines, maligned after an 0-2 start, appear to have found some answers. They defeated a previously unbeaten and 10th-ranked Penn State team 14-9. Over Michigan State down in East Lansing, they added to Notre Dame's woes. The Irish dropped to 0-4. That's their worst start in history, I think, something like 1915. But they did score 2 touchdowns, which they hadn't done in the last 3 weeks of play. In local high school games, East Limestone destroyed East Lawrence 63-19. Madison Academy got its offense in gear and used its air game to defeat New Hope 48-14. Decatur, coming on strong, had a little trouble with arch rival Athens. Decatur beat Athens 35-7. People over in Athens are not very happy today. The Butler Rebels win big. They defeat Southside Gaston 39-0. Columbia corrected their mistakes from last week and gets their first win of the season with a 26-7 victory over Ardmore. And the Grissom Tigers could not muster any offense against a good Buckhorn team. Buckhorn gets the win 30-0. If one could eliminate the last minute of the fourth quarter, Bob Jones would have won 2 of their last 3 games. The Patriots lost to Buckhorn 3 weeks ago, and a kickoff return in the last 20 seconds of that game. Last Friday, up at Florence drove the ball 99 yards in the last 2 minutes of the game to beat Bob Jones 26-21. And the Johnson Jaguars dropped their second game in a row. Russellville came from behind to defeat the Jaguars 30-23 in an overtime win. Well, Huntsville High School is off to their best start in the last 10 years or so. They went to Hazel Green. Huntsville was 3-0 and Hazel Green was 0-3. They continued their winning ways by defeating the Trojans 44-0 out at Alabama A&M's Louis Cruz Stadium last Friday night.
This game tonight is as big to me as the other 3 that we've played.
Meets the southern sky.
Because this game to me is all about character.
Mid the rustling of the treetops stands our dear old high.
It wasn't Bob Jones, it wasn't Austin, it wasn't Johnson, it wasn't Decatur. Those were not the character games that I'm looking for. I'm looking for a character game tonight.
School we love, high school live for I, our alma mater dear.
But they know when you put that jersey on, there's one thing that's carried on over the years, and that's the character of this program.
May thy sons be wheeled and
because we're going to be 3-0 in the region after this game.
And with us tonight is the victorious coach, Coach Kevin Weisman. Coach, how you doing?
Good, Coach. I appreciate you having us here.
You guys have gotten off to a great start. You know, with go back to last week against Bob Jones, and Bob Jones is supposed to be the class of '60 in this region. You guys kind of dismantled him.
Well, I don't know about dismantling.
I know you can't say that.
We played awfully well, and I attribute it to our players in preparation, our coaching staff in preparation there, and playing a great football game out their place, and big crowd. It was just one of those great Friday nights that you always dream about.
You know, before the season, you thought you'd have put up good offense and defense, but your defense has just been outstanding this season so far. They really bottled people up.
They have. You know, we returned 9 out of the 11 starters on defense there. We knew we had a good shot to be a pretty good defensive team, and they've met those expectations. And the offense has come along and come along well.
Well, and to mention that, of course, Grant Streams was out the first couple ball games. He came back, got another little shoulder hurt, the same shoulder hurt, I guess, this week. But you've managed to put guys in there that not many people heard about, and you continue the efficiency on offense as well as defense.
And that's what we've been looking at for the last 3 years, having large freshman teams of over 50 each year. We've got some depth in areas, and that's what we're going to overcome in the middle of the season here. We've got some injuries coming, and we know we got to put some guys in the lineup, and hopefully they can perform as well as a starter, as you would say.
Well, it was homecoming this past Friday out at A&M, and you played Hazel Green, the team that's trying to get a win, and they haven't had a good season. And is it tough to get your players ready to play against a team that hasn't won, and you know that one that everybody thinks you ought to beat?
Coach, you know, that's one of the hardest things to do. I'd rather play a good competition every week and knowing that it's going to be difficult and that your kids, I mean, I told them at halftime, and sometimes I think we're too smart. We read too well. And looking what Mike Easterlin says in the paper and things like that, you know, Hazel Green's up and coming. They're playing a bunch of young kids. Luckily, we've got a lot of seniors that we're starting up front there and get them going. And they're going to be a good ball club by the time it's all said and done, Coach Palmer and them out there. But yes, it is very difficult to get our kids up and going.
Yes, you guys thinking about the dance and all that kind of stuff and other things they need to be thinking about. But all right, let's take a look at it. You got Hazel Green out of A&M, which is a nice stadium, beautiful stadium.
Beautiful.
And I had a good crowd out there. And
great crowd.
Comes the Panthers coming through the. We talked about that kind of paper. Coach Weisman said he'd provide all the paper they need as long as you keep winning.
That's right. We can tear some paper up in a heartbeat there. So that's one of the favorite things. We had middle school teams out there the other night. We called it Future Panther Night, and had Hampton Cove and Hudson Middle there. Get things started off pretty good off the bat. They're trying a little trickery, and Hardy Reynolds, I think you've seen him the last couple of weeks, Coach. He is making plays all over the field for us. And
he does on offense and defense.
Exactly. And, again, we've got defensive pressures. Connor Neighbors, a sophomore. He's coming into his own. He's doing awfully well under the shadows of his own brother. So we forced him to punt, and doing a good job on special teams, too. I think a lot of say those kids doing a lot of good job, real good job on special teams. Rainer Bowles, for example, right there. We come back in the offense, like I said, to continue to produce and keep coming up. And now the first quarter of the night, I can't say we produced a whole lot because it seemed like we were flat as a fiddle out there. And but they kind of got things going. We tried to fake punt here. Joe Louis Fleming to Hardy Reynolds. Name we see again there. Throws it down the sideline. Try to get a little momentum, a little excitement on our sideline going. Try to do anything to get our guys pumped up and going. So it started breathing a little life into us.
Well, one thing for sure, when you punt again, they'll cover that guy's outside, won't they?
Well, we've been getting tremendous pressure. You know, Bob Jones the week before, it put tremendous pressure on our punter, and you know, so we had said we had to do something to loosen some people up. And, luckily, you see, we're not quite hitting on all cylinders first quarter, but luckily, Coach, you know as well as I, if you got a defense that shows up every night, you're going to have a chance all 4 quarters, and that's what our defense continues to do. The game tackling that's going on there, Blake Herring and several others, just playing playing great. Just anytime you see that many red jerseys on the pile, it makes you feel good.
Well, that's things very impressive. I mean, when you're making tackle, you get 6 or 7 guys around the ball carrier, and there's a big interception.
Big interceptions. Brandon Butler, a senior that we have. It's just he's probably one of the most improved players we got this coming year. It's coming into this year. We've got 5 interceptions the other night, Coach, in the first half. And again, like I said, we get our offense going. We've got Grant Streams coming back. He's running in there. Didn't quite, you know, give Hazel Green credit. Like I said, they threw a couple little scenarios at us that we wasn't quite expecting. Give them credit. Their coaches did a great job.
I think you might have mentioned that Grant hurt his shoulder again on that particular play.
Yeah, a little bit later on, he does hurt his shoulder there, but it's one of those things he's going to endure for the rest of the year. So I think he's going to be tough enough. He'll take it, and he knows it's a senior year here. So again, our defense is trying to keep us in the game, keep things going. You're going to see us continue to swarm after football. They make a good play here, rolling out, tip the ball. One of the guys catches the ball, slides out bound for a first down.
Sometimes you mentioned that they changed coverages a little bit on you in your passing game that confused the quarterback early in the game, which makes you a little bit not as effective as you'd want to be.
No, it isn't. You prepare for one thing all week. It's almost like a teacher throwing some questions on a test you weren't exactly prepared for. And so you kind of scratch your head there a little bit and then make your adjustments. And luckily we did.
Referee needs to put some pads on, doesn't he?
The umpire there, you better watch out. Things happen right there pretty quick in the middle.
You got to have quick feet inside with all those people around you. At the end of the first quarter, then it's 0-0, and I don't want to ask you were you worried, but you weren't playing as well as you wanted to play at that point in time.
Yeah, you can tell in their eyes, they're dancing around. There's nothing focused on the football field. Our defense was focused, Offensively, we had a few miscues, and all it takes is one or two of those to basically stall a drive, and that's what happened early.
It doesn't matter what sport. I think football or basketball, if you can play good defense, you always have a chance, don't you?
You have a chance. You sure do.
So we're going to the second quarter. Huntsville is tied with Hazel Green 0-0, but there's a little bit of a different story in the second quarter as we begin.
We start waking up again. We start feeding off of our defense, the energies they're bringing to the game. Jonathan Erskine there, and we got people flying to the football, and here comes this guy again, number 85, Coach. That's his 4th interception in the last 2 weeks. Just playing unbelievable. If you walk down the halls now, you would never recognize him as a football player. But he's one of those instinctive guys who's just playing unbelievable for us and making great things happen. We finally get on the board. Martin Patton kicks a field goal, bangs one through, so we're finally starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel here.
That's one of the areas that you weren't sure about before the season, the kicking game. Evidently, it's come around to where it's something you can depend on.
It is, and it's something we take a lot of pride in, and making sure our kids understand it is one of the phases of the game that we're going to put a lot of stress into.
Yes,
so our offense, you can tell we're starting to get back going. Joe Lewis Fleming makes a great play right there. Grant Streams is starting to move his legs, turn his legs, and we got a lot of people pushing downfield trying to get the extra yards, and you can start to slowly see it coming, and that's what's great to see is all of a sudden the lights are starting to turn on for us offensively.
There's the Panthers clone of Tebow, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a big old guy.
Lewis Gibson, pretty big guy, and we called him in the coverage, and Andrew Bailey, we're talking to him in a few minutes here, our tight end, senior tight end, catches, I think it's about a 42-yard play there, and we go up now 10-0. Things, like I said, are starting to swing our way. So
we got 10-0, and there's more to come here as he kick the point. Getting good kick coverage. I noticed early in the ball game that you get the ball up in the air and you get down there, and there's not much room on the return kickoffs on you. These guys cover very well. At times they sneak through for a few yards. But
we put a little extra emphasis in the kicking game last week. Feel like we didn't perform at our best. And our kids really did a good job of taking that information and then applying it to Friday night. Again, our defense is swarming after football. When you start swarming, all of a sudden they start throwing it up. And Thompson McMurtry, a senior also, defensive back, comes in, makes a great play. One of the 5, like I said, interceptions we had at the beginning of the game the other night.
The receiver falls down here, and as it so often happens, if you throw down the middle and don't catch it, somebody else catches it. One of the things that you play on a college field, and the goalpost for college width.
Exactly. We're able to pick off another pass and run this one back. So the defense is going to start helping us get things on the scoreboard. Taj Tyler, senior linebacker, hopefully he'll continue on the good play and he's especially had so far this year. And we're able to walk that one in.
All good teams score on defense. And sometimes it's the kick that you need for the offense to get something started.
And that's what happened the other night. Our kids realized that we wasn't clicking, so we started trying to create turnovers. We got the turnovers, and all of a sudden it's amazing how the game switches, the momentum and everything else when you start creating the turnovers that we have there.
Now that kick is your deep onside kick, and it prevents them from returning most. And here's another interception. Boy, you guys like to throw the ball to the red shirts.
And that's 85 again. Coach, we actually had more interceptions than we had receptions the other night in the first half. I don't know if you could, how many times you've seen that in the stats, but that's what we had the other night. Rodriguez 3, the sophomore running back, got a chance to be really, really good. He did a great job filling in for Grant. He got a little banged up the other night. Knows how to get the ball north and south, and he's got a chance to, like I said, be a really, really good running back for us.
So it seems as watch it against Bob Jones, like when your defense does something good, it catches your offense fire, and almost every game I've seen you playing, that happens. Something big happens on offense after a big defensive play.
You know, that's what you can't tell the young men enough. It's the reason why football is such a great sport, such a team sport.
Now that was a fumble, I think, Coach, that they didn't give you.
I think you're right. You know, I argued the point, but it tends to, the guys in the black and yellow, black and white stripes thinks that they know everything sometimes.
Well, you know, a lot of times when a team you're playing a team that you're a lot better than, it appears you're a lot better than. Some referees kind of tend to want to even it up. And that always used to upset me a little bit.
Well, Coach, I can't say anything like that, but
I'll say it for you. And that ends the first half. You're leading 24-0. And I guess everybody always asks what you do and what you say when you're going to halftime. I guess you just tell them you have to play better. You're doing pretty much what you want to do.
And you know, we're not playing that bad. It's what you feel bad about is you're not playing that bad. Your defense is playing great. You got 5 turnovers in the first half. Your offense is just one play away from breaking things open right there. So how do you handle it? You know you should be taking care of the game, but yet you're still not quite there yet. And we basically toss it back over to them and say, let's let y'all take care of it. All right, it's time for y'all to grow up and let's make plays.
You know, a lot of times fans say when you get ahead, what can you say? Well, you're still coaching. You're still trying to do little things well, and I'm not sure that regardless of who you're playing against, how much you hit, you want technique-wise and those kinds of things.
Exactly. We're going to take this game film right there and we'll coach them up just like we do every week. And regardless of the score, if we win or lose, where it may be, we're still going to show the mistakes and show the things they did positive.
Well, we start the second half. You're leading 24-0, and we'll take a look at the second half, the third quarter right now starting up. Had a pretty good crowd out there.
Had a great crowd. And I'll tell you what, A&M's got a beautiful place out there, and hopefully Huntsville City Schools get some more opportunities to play out there because I think it's a great venue for high school football. Very class Coach Betty Austin out there. Really appreciate her services to come in and help us and put this game on because originally it was supposed to be on Thursday night in Milton Frank. Because of the graduation exam, though, we had to move it. And things got a little crazy there, but we got settled down to play at A&M. So Andrew Bailey again, finding him a little bit more, it seems like. Teams are...
And here's the real Tebow clone.
Yeah, Lewis Gibson actually played defensive end last year for us and was our second-team quarterback, and has come on just so well. I mean, it's because of the hard work he's had over the summer. Plus, he has a great cast around him. And, Coach, you know as well as I, you don't have just one player. You should have 10, 11, 12 guys that contribute, and that's what's happening for us so far.
Yeah, one of the things I noticed, especially last week when I got a chance to watch you play against Bob Jones, is that he didn't make very many bad decisions. Sometimes he could have thrown the ball into a crowd. He chose to do the right thing. That's winning football.
And this is our second year in this spread system that we're involved with right there, and I think our kids are understanding. Our coaches are understanding a little bit more how to coach it and give it to the kids. And so, like I said, Hazelgreen, they got some tough young kids there. I think Wesley realized that real quick after his helmet got knocked off. Wesley Neighbors.
He didn't stop trying to make the play.
No, that's Wesley Neighbors though too. That's the reason why he's one of our better players. He just keeps playing all the time, and he has a great respect for the game. Jeremiah Fuquay, one of our other running backs, comes into the game there, and now we get Thompson McMurtry on the offensive side. You saw him pick off a pass earlier in the game, and again, he's doing a great job, and he tries to do all the little things that we have involved in the game there. So,
good pass protection.
This is a big fourth down play. Jeremiah Fuquay, we find him out in the flats, and pick up an extra 10 yards there, and gets us closer to the end zone. Rodriguez, like I said, Rodriguez is a sophomore running back and has done a really, really good job. You don't know how you're going to put a sophomore into a varsity game as quick, but he's played in all 4 we've played so far and has really produced well.
But another thing that observing your team play, when you run the spread, you got to catch the ball. You've got a bunch of guys from backs and receivers that I haven't seen. Matter of fact, I haven't seen any drop balls.
Well,
I imagine
you
you had
didn't see
them.
our game the other night because first quarter, that's all it was. No, but we've been fortunate. We lost the two big receivers from last year and everything else, and everybody's wondering how we're going to run this offense. And it comes from hard work and determination. Our kids focused and worked hard over summertime, and have really done a good job of transferring.
And you know, one of the things I've never heard you say, you have a young team. I hear all these college coaches that have a chance to go out and recruit, they start losing their titles talking about a young team. You lost some quality receivers, both college scholarship guys, and you come right back and you're just about as efficient as you were last year in terms of moving the football.
And but, I also contribute to character to this senior class, and we've got a great senior class, and you're just it's unbelievable, Coach. I wish you could spend more time around them because you realize what kind of young men they are, and that transcends on the football field too.
Well, you're leading 31-0, and I know a lot of those guys that don't get a chance to play a lot are looking forward to the fourth quarter. Let's take a look at the fourth quarter. Huntsville leading 31-0 over Hazel Green last Friday night out at Alabama A&M's Louis Crews Stadium.
The following things are opening up our ways.
Are
Our
these
cheerleaders.
Huntsville or
These
Hazel?
are Huntsville. These
Okay.
are Huntsville
Yeah, both
cheerleaders
same
here,
colors
so.
pretty much, huh?
I know it. They cheerleaders want to wear our jerseys, our away jerseys, and I'm not going to tell a cheerleader sponsor or cheerleader no. You know how that is, Coach. So that's your best friends on the campus.
Exactly right.
So. Ross Ivy, one of our seniors, you've known him, young man, for many years, Coach.
He's
great,
a
great young man.
punt catcher too.
Great little punt catcher. Coach does everything for us. He's just one of those, like I said, one of those character players who we get so much out of. I said we're able to get a bunch of kids into the game here, and that's what's neat too, is seeing them perform on the football field and watch them. Kenneth Nugent, our second quarterback, comes into the game. He's done really well when he's come in and his playing time and responsibilities there. He understands that he may not get all the time he wants, but he's going to come in and perform. Montrell Jackson, another sophomore that's come in, and running back that we have there. And like I said, Coach Palmer out of Hayes Green is a very class man, and I think Hayes Green is going to really enjoy his services the next few years.
Well, he's going to take his lumps now, but you know, if he keeps them right. And this, I think what you've done is a good replica of what people ought to do. You've got the young kids involved in Little League. You've got a bunch of kids out there in each class, and it builds up when you can have a group of kids that go through 3 years of playing together, 4 years from Little League on up. You're going to have a pretty good football team.
Exactly. You've seen, like I said, you've seen this senior class when they were 8 and 10 years old in the Metro League, the City League there, and there's no doubt the reason why we're being successful right now is because those kids have been playing with each other for now the past 8 years.
Well, Coach, there was a football game going on, but there were some other activities. It was homecoming, and all the proud dads got a chance to escort their daughters on the field. We'll take a look at that right now.
Our first freshman representative we have here is Yvonne Cadoba. She is one of the representatives. And we have Miss Harrison Downs. Like I said, these are the two freshman representatives. Our student body elects each one of these, and I think they did a great job of representing here the Huntsville High proud tradition that we have. Miss Meredith Avery Bush, representing the sophomore class. You see her come across the field there. Then the other sophomore we're fixing to see is Miss Victoria Morrison, another one of the representatives of the sophomore class. And it's very unique. You know, homecoming coach is such a great activity, great fun to see all the different clubs and activities that we have presented on the school. Our junior representative is Miss Chelsea Barra. She is full of life, full of energy. If you've seen her walking down the hall, I don't think I've ever seen her frown. Then we have Miss Catherine Hahn, and she is another one of the junior representatives that we have here. We have 2 representatives from every class until we get to the seniors, and then we'll have 5 representatives from the senior class, from which one of them is the queen. The first senior that we have is Miss Kelly Anderson, and you see her coming across the field. Like I said, our senior class is loaded with just such good quality people, and that's male, female alike. The next representative is Miss Betsy Howard, another one of the young ladies we have here. Miss Martina Kaivi is the 3rd representative from the senior class. We're talking more about her in a second. Not trying to let the cat out of the bag, but we'll go ahead and say that one.
It's already out there. No.
It's already out. Yeah, that's right. Miss Allie Long, another just delightful young lady, one of our student athletes there. And then the last senior representative is Miss Morgan May, another one of our student athletes. She plays softball and is also just so well-rounded and is just a quality person. Like I said, all 5 of these and all 11 of the young women are just quality people, and awfully proud to be associated with them and represent Huntsville High. Like I said, here comes Miss Martina Caiuti again. As the announcement's made, and standing there with her father, Mr. Tom Economy, who was our Boost Club president last year, and her brother was J.B. Economy, who was our quarterback last year. So
He could hardly contain himself.
no, he couldn't. You know, I mean, I can't imagine. I've got 2 young boys, so I'll never get this opportunity. But standing there with your daughter and knowing that she's been elected by her peers has got to be a nice feeling, because knowing that, like I said, she's respected by her classmates, to put her in that position has got to be an awfully proud feeling for any father out there.
Of course, that was an outstanding homecoming from the standpoint of winning the football game and then seeing the young ladies and that the students elected to the Queen and to the court, and it's always a good thing.
It always is a great thing, and that's the reason why that homecomings are so special.
Well, the people that helped make it special are these 2 guys that you brought with you, and how about introducing them, Coach, to the audience out there? I know we got...
Yeah, the youngest young man right beside you is senior Brandon Butler. He caught the first interception. We had a defensive back linebacker called our Panther back. And then the tight end, number 44, young man beside me is Andrew Bailey. Both of these are seniors and did a great job the other night for us.
And I like having guys on because, you know, the fans, when you're down, it's not like basketball. You get to know the guys, what they look like. In football, you're down there in all that garb, and unless it's your parents and people that see you every day, they don't know who you are. They know who you are by number, but they can't recognize the face. Welcome to the program, guys. Let me ask them now. You a defensive back. Did you play receiver before you played defensive back?
No, sir.
You didn't? The reason I ask is because most defensive backs are guys that can't catch the ball, and they move from receiver over. But you made a good catch and started things going the other night.
It went great.
Defense has been the strong suit, and although the Huntsville has been good on offense, you guys on defense seem to rally around the ball. Is there anything special that you do, coaches do, that get you all fired up so that 8 or 9 guys are around the ball all the time?
Coach Betso does a real good job, and he tells us, like the drills we do and stuff is real good, and, like, sometimes he tells us he's going to run us and stuff.
Oh, it's the threat of pain, huh?
Yeah. But he does a great job.
Is that the first time you scored a touchdown the other night?
I didn't score, but that was my first one.
You know, I'm thinking...
We had the penalty. We had the penalty, got called back, yeah. His buddy Taj Tyler had a little penalty in the lock in the back, so we had to blame him on that one.
Is there any special things that you guys as a defense talk about when you're among yourselves?
Well, we always talk about, like, getting interceptions and, like, scoring and stuff. We always talk about that.
So sometimes talking about it, and when it happens, you know, you have to imagine yourself doing things a lot of time before it happens, and you make things happen. What year are you in? In school?
Oh, 12th grade.
You're a senior also?
Yes, sir.
And what are your plans for next year?
I'm planning on attending college.
You know where yet?
Undecided.
Undecided. You plan on what you're majoring in yet?
Well, sort of, but it's still undecided, too.
No, that's, a bunch of us were undecided when we started. Let's get back to the other young fellow over here at tight end. And now you don't look like the tight end type. Usually it's 6'4", 230 pounds.
Right.
But evidently you do a good job blocking, and Coach wouldn't have you in there.
Thank you.
Does he get the ball to you very much on offense?
I try to every now and then. I get a couple catches about every game.
Well, that's good. And what are you? You're a senior also?
I'm a senior, yes, sir.
So you've been with this group through some tough times, both of you guys, and now you're realizing the fruits of the hard work you put in. As a team, how would you characterize the team, you know, in terms of attitude and that sort of thing?
Oh, everybody has a great attitude. I mean, everybody has a good work ethic. We've been together, seems like forever now, and it's just we click well together, and you know, hoping to have a great year.
Yeah, one of the things that, as a coach, former coach, and as a former player, these guys are friends that you'll probably have for the rest of your lives. There'll never be another time that you go through what you've gone through as high school kids with the people you've gone through, especially when you've been down, not the bottom so much, but at a point where you're not as successful, and then you're coming up to a point now where you have a chance to win every football game. How special is it?
Oh, it's hard to put it in words, you know. We all the seniors, we know we have something special going on here, and we want to finish off in the right way.
Well, I want to congratulate both of you and your team, because it's a pleasure watching your defense wins, and a lot of times people look at the ball carriers and all those people and the quarterbacks, but when it boils down to it, you look at the game last week, you guys really set the tone for the victory, and you can play defense, and you can't catch the ball and you can't run the ball, you can always play defense, and you guys really got the offense going. But I want to wish you the best of luck, and look forward to watching you play for the rest of the season. You got a tough one next week, Coach.
Yeah, we got Butler, in-state
Butler.
rivalry, the city rivalry. It started all rivalries here in town when it was just Butler and Huntsville, so that should be a good one.
You know, they came up with a big win, and, you know, they've got some athletes that,
They got
that
some
can beat
athletes. They sure
So,
did. Coach Dean Sanders, I wouldn't put past, you know, he's one of the better coaches we got around and tries to get as much out of his kids as he can, and he's going to be up to the task. I know he will.
you. And I know you're not going to take anything for granted. I'm sure these guys aren't, and I look forward to seeing a great football game next week.
Appreciate it, Coach.
We want to thank you guys, and appreciate you being here, and we're going to come right back in a few minutes with the Lehigh Generals on Coach's Corner.